Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Welcome into the locker room, the most sacred of spaces in sports. Talking you through the behind-the-scenes conversations that happen behind closed doors. With former Nebraska football tight end Chancellor Brewington.
Chancellor Brewington, the 6-year senior tight end, finding his way into the end zone.
And former South Dakota State running back and Nebraska football assistant, Mikey Daniel.
Hand off to Daniel inside the 2 to the 1, and he powers his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State touchdown.
This is The Locker Room, brought to you by Ep Foundation Repair. Here are your hosts, Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
Yes, welcome into the locker room again here today on 93.7 The Ticket, a Thursday edition of the locker room. Mikey Daniel out today, Chancellor Brewington in studio and ready to talk some more about Dana Holgorsen and the addition that he maybe could bring to Nebraska in a variety of different ways. So I'll send it to you, Chancellor.
A variety of different ways. I hope everyone is doing good. I'm Chancellor Brewington, like Bach said. Usually joining me is Mikey Daniels, but you're listening to 93.7 The Ticket, and specifically the locker room. So we usually start off with a quote card, and today I got it. Usually Mikey got it, but I got the quote card today. It's from Ralph Waldo Emerson, philosopher from the late 1800s, early 1900s. He said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." And I guess that's a little bit of encouragement to start the show off. We got a lot to get into, but ultimately in your own lives, the goal should be to become the best version of yourself and focus on that, because everything flows to you when you become that person that you're designed to be. And that's a great accomplishment. Some people would even say that's success in itself. But we got a whole bunch to get into. I mean, we got to talk about this Holgorsen thing. And it's been the talk of the week. It's been the news in Nebraska football. Bye week, of course. You bring in a offensive consultant, you bring in a defensive consultant, although the defense consultant, maybe add a couple philosophy things really, but Nebraska's a top 20 defense. There's, obviously can be better. But when you look up to the point, Nebraska's defense hasn't really been the problem. And that's pretty standard. That's pretty plain. We've seen that across the board. But Holgorsen, coming from this air raid philosophy, And for the people that don't really understand what air raid is, the prime example, air raid to the max is, I mean, obviously Washington State early 2000s, but you can even go Texas Tech when Patrick Mahomes was there, even after Patrick Mahomes left. You can think of Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma, those type of offenses, even, Oklahoma State early to mid 2005, 2006, those type of teams, those type of systems where, quarterbacks dropping back and throwing, 38 to 40 times a game. And, you're running the ball effectively. And I think that's the one thing I want to hit on is the effectiveness when you call a run in an air raid offense. And one thing that really, really helps out of air raid, and I've been in the air raid offense, so I understand the philosophy and the pace of it, is like there's no, like when you see Nebraska, for the fans and supporters out there watching Nebraska, when you see Nebraska huddle right before every play. So Dylan Raiola will get the headset just like I got a headset on. He'll have a little in-ear and, it'll be trips right, wide move, 265, Z cross, X shallow, whatever it is, right? That's not a play. That wouldn't make any sense. But when he gets the play in, all the, you got 5 linemen and, your skill players are right there as well. But in an air raid offense, one thing that makes it effective is the tempo. Tempo makes air raid offenses effective. So I think implementing in just a little bit, right? Because every team does tempo. Every team does a 2-minute drill. Every team, has some type of, some teams call it red ball. Some teams call it tempo ball, where they'll practice it throughout the week, right? So I have no doubt in my mind that Nebraska has practiced tempo, but with the tempo, it can actually help out the run. Because, think of it like this. You're doing this muddle huddle, right? Where you're got your receivers split out, your tight end split out, whatever it is, and you're just giving the O-line the protection, right? You're giving the O-line protection. Receivers are getting the signal. That's how a lot of college offenses do it. Even still with the in-ear headset. But you're able to just throw the ball, dink dunk here, take a shot here, and right after you take a shot or right after a big completion, right after a quick first down, you go hurry up tempo. Obviously, first down chains move. You probably do a big shot play, get in the red zone or something like that. You do hurry up tempo, inside zone, unbalanced, those type of things, right? And I think that will help out this offense because at this point, you bring an air raid guy to help out, and this is all speculation, of course, because what if he's just there to just encourage, like, what I'm saying? Like, we don't exactly know, but this is all speculation. And if we're speculating, the air raid can help this offense a lot. Why? Dylan Raiola's skill set, our receivers. I would say the O-lines, I would say inconsistency, play action shot, these not a lot of scat protections, meaning quick protections. You're hopping in a lot of 6-man, 7-man protections, taking shots. Well, you get an air raid, it can really help out an offense that's getting blitzed a lot as well. And I think that's kind of where I want to segue to, and I want the people to chime in as well. As far as the offensive you love to watch back in the day, the air raid, throw it down the field, throw it down the field, throw it down the field. How can that translate to a Big Ten team? Because this is the question me and Bog was asking each other before we started this segment was, okay, how can this translate to a Big Ten team, right? Because you got to run the football at some point. And this is something we're struggling with now, just to cover it up with just throwing the ball much better. The hole in the running game is still going to be there, right? We see in Wisconsin kind of struggling with that right now. But Bach, what are your thoughts on it? Having to run the football, but also we got to clean up the pass game too. So it's like everything under the offensive umbrella you got to cover. I'm not going to say if you were Holgorsen, but as a fan, like what type of things would you like to be cleaned up during this bye week, during this consulting period?
Well, I think they got to find a way to get to, whether it be your hot routes on blitzes or just a quick passing game in general, crossing routes, mesh routes, rub routes that get guys open. There just seems like they want to do all these long developing routes, and they don't get open on those, quite frankly, on a lot of them. And that's what it looked like it was open to me against UCLA, was kind of the stuff, they're running these longer routes, but they're open early in the route. And then by the time they're running downfield, they're not open, or Dylan has too much pressure on him and he has to look around. So I think there's a lot of critiquing, and that's, again, unfortunately, it's not just one thing. Okay, if we improve this significantly, our offense will take off. Matt Rule kind of pointed it out. It's a little bit of everything now, but the big thing to me too, other than just kind of running smaller routes, trying to get the ball out of Dylan's hands quicker, is got to be continue to be perimeter blocking and find your best blocking wide receivers. At this point, if the passing game is not overly, you're not getting too many yards anyways, you need to have your best blockers out there, not just for these screens that we're seeing, but for the run game as well. They're not breaking open any big runs. A lot of the time, the difference between a big run being broken or not is downfield blocking, and I just haven't seen enough of that. So there's a lot of problems to address, but that's probably where I would start.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you want these breakaway runs when guys aren't, I was watching a film, just the angles when you go against safeties. Like, if you're a receiver and, the rule is you want to run on corners, you want to block safeties, right? So anytime you can get, a too high shell, you go and block that safety, right? And you run on corners, but it's just the willingness it's like a sometimes thing. Like it's a problem. I'll say this, it's a problem when we turn on the tape or we turn on a game, right? Game, TV cut up, you turn on the game and the announcers are saying, oh, wow, that's a fantastic block by Banks. Haven't seen that in a while. Like, that's a once in a lifetime thing, right? That has to be consistent. That should be a key before the game, knowing that, hey man, we gonna bust our tail. I said this earlier in the year, but it still reigns true, and it still is something I would like to see the guys take pride in. Is we used to have a tally sheet of, like, say I'm blocking you or you're covering me the whole game, how many times you make the play, right? I took pride in not letting you make the play. And it could be the run. We're on the left hash, right? And I'm the left receiver. And there's a run, outside zone pitch to the right? And this corner's, just playing patty cake, right? And all of a sudden he starts trailing. It's still my job. We call it crossfield cutoff, right? You still got to cut them off every single time. But I really believe that, with the so I was watching Washington State, Mike Leach back in the day, because I was like, man, I got to get some more air raid in my system because it's a phenomenal offense. And I'm looking at it like it has answers for everything. It has answers for everything. It has answers for, depending on which play you call, of course, but it has answers for, hots. It's got answers for, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, which every playbook does. But when you have a savvy quarterback like Raiola, man, if I'm him, I think that's appealing to me. I think that will utilize his skill set. And definitely, we talked about this a little bit too, recruiting wise. If this is the direction you're going to go in, right? If you we kind of want to adopt some of these philosophies, I think running back wise, you got to be super particular on who you recruit and who you bring in here, because you don't want to bring in a guy who can't catch, right? Because I'll tell you this, it's really hard to bring in a running back or to have a guy, run the football well, but anytime it's third down, you got to take him out the game because he can't catch, right? And I think we talked about this. I think, if we're going to adopt some of this air raid philosophy or some of these concepts, I think as a back, I think Emmett Johnson would be super effective. And one thing with air raid, the screen game is super prevalent in the air raid, right? So it's not just a thing where I would say, people have been super harsh on the screen, and I have too. I was really harsh when, Satterfield was calling the screens and calling that, and what game was that? Was that Indiana, Bach? Indiana or how it was Ohio State. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was Ohio State. So I felt some type of way. But when you look at it now, you're like, okay, what can match with the air raid? Those type of things. But to encourage the guys, I think you show guys like, hey, like this type of system works. But also this is all speculation because you don't really know what's going to go on. As far as what I would like to see in the USC game, because USC is a real win. You can really get this win by USC with USC. You can go to USC, get this win. And me and Mike talked about it. You lose this to SC. Now, your odds of winning go real low. Just because Wisconsin and Iowa are interesting teams. it's always going to be a grudge match. It's always going to be, a bar fight, as some people say. It's going to be a heavyweight matchup. And, no matter the way Wisconsin is playing, no matter the way Nebraska's playing, it's always going to be a close game. I remember we played Wisconsin home 2022, and we were up 14-0, or was it 14-0? I believe it was 14-0 first half, and they come back and beat us, in the last 6-7 minutes of the ball game in the fourth quarter, right? So those type of games are always going to be close to Iowa, no matter the way, where Iowa's at. We played them 21 and they're top 25, and we're beating them by 14, 17 points, and then we get block punt, they go out and score, pick six, all these different things happen. So those type of games are always close. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you can get one of these non-rivalry games in the USC, this will benefit you a lot. And so that's why I love the accountability and the call by rule to say, okay, all hands on deck. We need to get this one specifically. Like, we need to get this one is right. During the bye week, we got a lot of things to figure out, to patch up. One thing I've been, I would say I give praise to is the special teams has been better. I mean, if anything, right? We and although I just get a flashback of us missing the field goal, right? What was that to the last? It was the last. What was
the
it?
Extra point for?
Yeah, the extra point.
UCLA?
It was the extra point. I'm like, man, we missed that one. But as far as punt coverage, getting the punts off, we had a close call. UCLA, there was a close one, right? But we got them off, right? We got those off. Kickoff coverage has been better. Kickoff return, we didn't catch it at the 2-yard line. We didn't catch it at the 10-yard line. So those things have been better. Being able to start drives a little faster for the offense, setting them up in good field position. That's been super, super important because, when you're not playing real well on offense, imagine if we play terrible UCLA on special teams. That's a whole nother ball game. I mean, that's a real blowout. That's a real blowout, and there's not a chance to come back from that game. But because you play decent on special teams, you give yourself some room to go ahead and come back. So shout out to Ho, although he missed that one. Shout out to Ho. And of course, Bushini's still punting the ball really well. And so those are bright spots on this team. And also, you still got bright spots on the defense, right? You still got bright spots. I think I would say the third quarter and fourth quarter during that UCLA game, there was a pickup, I would say. But you got to figure out what makes this team tick. And it's not a thing where you try to fix the whole pie. You just got to fix slice by slice, because at the end of the day, you got 3 games left, right?
Yeah, 3 games left for Nebraska to do. We'll talk more about that coming up next year in the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
The bell rings and the school day starts. The future of our fiber hoods lies in their hands. That's why Allo Fiber invests in schools, students, and the next generation of leaders. If you sign up for Allo service between now and December 31st, Allo will donate $50 to the school of your choice. Joining the Allo Fiber family isn't just about crazy fast, reliable internet. It's about giving back to your local community and investing in what matters most. Switch to Allo today and we'll donate $50 to your chosen school. Visit allofiber.com/education to make a difference now.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Beecham from Brand Lincoln Podcast and Perch Merch, your go-to in Lincoln for printing and promotional needs. Speaking of that, we are running a huge hoodie sale now through November 30th to save you big money on great brands. 20% off everything from Nike and Bella Canvas pullovers to Gildan and Port & Company sweatshirts and district fleeces. Get yours for your group or organization today by calling us at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Now that Halloween is over and you're gearing up for Christmas, it's time to head to Tailored Life in Bennett to get ready with local shopping. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of Christmas trees in all different colors. Plus, many other fall and winter holiday items and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
Imagine a world where your office IT runs smoothly, securely, and effortlessly. A day where you aren't worried about the next outage or password compromise. At Hamilton, we take care of everything from monitoring and maintenance to security and support. We partner with your business to design integrated technology solutions that fit your needs now and your goals for the future. With on-site and remote IT support options, we're always just a call or click away. Elevate your IT with Hamilton Managed IT. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
It happens. All of a sudden, you need a plumber. Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Problem solved with Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best boxers on Saturday, November 9th with Vertex at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now's the perfect time to go with Nebraska football on a bye week. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by Ep Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, yes, we're back here on the Locker Room on 93.7 The Ticket, talking a lot of Husker football as Chancellor Brewington is in studio with us. Mikey Daniel out today, but we have a special little treat for you instead with a little break from football real quick for a book review, Brews book review, here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hello, cultured Nebraskans. Sit back, relax, and listen to Chancellor Brewington give you his honest review of his latest reading. This is Brews Book Review on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, sir. I'm Chancellor Brewington on today's Brews Book Review. I got a special book. This is one, as you can see, I got all these notes in here. This is a special book. It's called Dream, Desire, Decide by Dr. Martin Williams. It says The Art of Becoming a Dream Keeper. And so basically this book, I mean, I'll do my best to describe it. This book is a quick read, but it's jam-packed with a bunch of knowledge and a bunch of inspiration for you to chase your dreams. And so it basically, Dr. Martin Williams, he describes that everyone has dreams. There's dreams inside of every one of us, and that, creator, source, God, whatever you want to call it, has placed those dreams inside of you. And those dreams, inside of those dreams, have desires, and those desires, those dreams that are inside of you give you energy, and that's where your purpose is. That's where your calling. For people who want to build wealth, like myself, that's where your wealth is. Chasing your dream and going after your desire, that will actually keep you in good health as well. That's what this book talks about. And then the power of decision making, burning the boats. There's a story. I won't say that one, but you have to just read this book. You have to read this book. Anyone who's trying to just get to that next level and feels like there's something in their belly, there's something that that they want to go to the next level and they want to discover why they're here, I would totally recommend this book. I've tatted this book up, meaning I've noted in it, I've journaled in it, and I've read it, but then I've gone back to it. And that's when a book is good. When you go back to it, you're like, man, I feel like, there's something I read in this book that applies to this particular chapter or this particular situation I'm going through. And this is a book I'll probably read before this year ends. I read it a couple months ago, but this is a book that I still keep by me, and I bought it for a few people. Man, if you message me on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, I'll buy this for you too, because this book is a gem, and I really believe that there's powerful books. There's powerful books. There's books that lead us towards our destiny, lead us towards our purpose, and I think that might be one for you. So that is Brews Book Review, but we got some top 25 games to get into, Bob. We got some top 25 games to get into. We had some upset alerts last week. Man, the South Carolina one, we predicted that, Bach, on here. We did, and it was pretty crazy. South Carolina goes in and beats Texas A&M. Actually, Texas A&M comes to South Carolina, and South Carolina handles business. One team I've been critical on Miami. I didn't know how Cam Ward was, and I'll say I'm the first to come on the show and say I'm wrong. I was wrong. Cam Ward is beyond legit. I mean, I had a question earlier in the year. They're playing Cal. I believe, who was it? Virginia Tech early. And so I'm thinking like, okay, I'm seeing a just interception after interception, right? Back-to-back games, just kind of, lazy decision making, cross-body throws, just trying to do too much, not taking the open check down. But then you turn on the Duke game. This on Saturday, and you're like, this dude's just different. This dude is playing on a completely different level. They got Restrepo. He goes and breaks some records in that Duke game. Although Cam Ward, he did have a crossbody throw rolling out to his right, trying to make the play happen and stuff like that. But Miami goes to Georgia Tech. I got Miami probably finishing out undefeated this year, because I mean the things I've seen from Cam Ward, I'm like, this is Caleb Williams-esque. This is and I'll use this lightly, but Patrick Mahomes-esque. It's just, I would say the deep ball with Cam Ward is one thing. I would say if there's anything in his game he kind of struggles with, is the deep ball accuracy. He kind of has that low arm angle, meaning his elbow's kind of down, so he can kind of float some balls up. So it kind of affects his deep ball accuracy. But in the intermediate game, they love to do this RPO game, Miami. If you go and watch any tape on him, like the way he gets his feet around, the way he's able to hold safeties with his eyes and shoulders, he gets people open. It's pretty interesting. He gets people open with his eyes and shoulders. And obviously that's what will work at the next level. There's a lot of stuff in this game that translates to the next level, I believe. And obviously other people do as well because he's on top of draft boards. And as far as the Heisman race goes, I mean, Cam Ward, after that Duke performance, I don't know what he's about to do at Georgia Tech, but I think he's top 1 or top 2. Obviously people say Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, but I think he should be in that conversation with those 3. And I think he should get a legit chance. Because if Miami goes undefeated, obviously Travis Hunter is a great athlete, but if Miami goes undefeated and you're thinking, you're midway through the year, you're thinking, Dylan Gabriel, number 1, on the number 1 team, quarterback, that whole situation. But you look at the way Cam Ward's playing, and you're like, man, this dude is nuts. Right now, up to 9-0, 9 games, he has 3,100 yards, 29 touchdowns and 6 picks. Those 6 picks were like really early in the year, and now he's kind of flushed those out of the system, although he had one against Duke. But for the most part, he's playing really, really, really good football. Electric, really fun to watch. So if you got a chance to go watch Cam Ward play on TV or in person, I don't know if you're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend, but that'd be a fun watch. And then, of course, Purdue goes to Ohio State. Ohio State, I'm expecting them to just beat down on them. I don't expect no upset from there. Florida goes to Texas. At this point in the SEC, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. I mean, Florida was 10-0 against Georgia to start off. Carson Beck throws 2 picks early. You don't really know with this SEC football, and we're getting to the time where a lot of guys are banged up. Bodies are barking, meaning bodies aren't feeling the best. You get in that November. I remember in November, you got 2 ankle sprains, your labrum shot, you got sprained fingers, you got a sprained wrist, everything's beat up, right? You're doing your best to recover, but at the end of the day, you're just playing beat up, right? And so this is kind of the type of ball that you get into right now. But I got Florida beating Texas.
Wow.
I got Texas beating Florida. My bad. No. We would have to the upset meter that me and Mike were talking about. That would be stay inside. That'd be a seismic earthquake on the upset meter. Georgia goes to Ole Miss. Georgia only a 2.5 favorite. How you feel about this one, Bach?
Yeah, Ole Miss just has been, with Lane Kiffin putting up crazy amount of points year after year, and this team's no different. I believe Jackson Dart's pretty close to leading the nation in passing, if not there yet. And Georgia, you can't keep getting away. Carson Beck last year, I think, was just not throwing picks, playing really well. Now he's, if you have a 3 interception game again or something to that tune against Ole Miss, I think it'll catch up to you.
Yeah, no, for sure. The people must know something, or the Vegas must know something, because it's they got Ole Miss on the predictor 54%, 53.9. I rounded for good measure. Maybe it's because Georgia started off slow against Florida. Carson Beck throws 2 picks early. The offense isn't really, moving as fast as people would probably like. But yeah, like you said, Jackson Dart, he has 3,200 yards already, 21 touchdowns, and only 3 picks. So he's playing really, really good football. Also, Lane Kiffin, kind of from that air raid offense, the air raid schematic scheme. Why not Ole Miss? Why not? Listen, I'm gonna take him. Take him. That's a baby upset. That's an upset, right? But it's a little baby one. Now the real upset I want to get to. This is the one. If Mikey was here, I don't know if I'm being tomorrow, so this is why I'm going through him. I want to get I want to make sure, Bach, you talk with Mikey about this Michigan Indiana game, because Michigan is going to Indiana. Obviously, I would like it to be the other way. I would like Indiana to go to Michigan, but Indiana playing really good football, but Michigan coming off a win. They win in they lost to Oregon. My bad. I was thinking Michigan State, but they lost to Oregon. can they bounce back and get this dub against Indiana? I think this will tell us a lot about this Indiana team playing Michigan. Indiana, the favorite. If they can go in there and play really good, sound defense, and eliminate the big play, just keep everything in front of them, get to the quarterback. My boy Ernest Hausman is playing really good football over there for Michigan, former Nebraska linebacker. They can go over there and play good defense and just run the football, win the time possession, not turn the ball over, try to throw for over 100 yards. I mean, you talk about us struggling on offense. I mean, Michigan has been struggling, a lot more than us. So I think this is, if there's an upset meter, I would say this is a 4 out of 10. This is like a baby earthquake. This is, one of those where you just, might want to, just be cautious, right? Just be cautious of where you're sitting at, where you're hanging out at. But I think Michigan could possibly get this done, Bob.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at them; they're in a similar situation as Nebraska as far as being 5-4. The difference for them is they have 2 top 10 teams remaining. One being this Indiana game, they closed out at Ohio State. So that Northwestern game in between there, they're really going to want to have to capitalize on that. We know about their kind of one-dimensional offense. They've only thrown for 200 yards once this season. I just don't think with that, I don't think it lines necessarily with getting the victory here against Indiana. But you never know. I mean, the Big Ten. Indiana, are they proven enough that you believe in them at this point? I think I'm at that point. That's why I'm confident in beating Michigan. But you definitely could see, the Wolverines popping up. This is a team that, yes, has lost a few games that, maybe you'd want to see them a little bit more competitive in, but they still fight.
Still fight. I mean, when you look at Big Ten right now, it's Indiana and Oregon all the way. I mean, if Indiana closes out, who does Indiana have left? They have Michigan, Ohio State, and Purdue. If Indiana can somehow find a way, I mean, to be honest, Bach, they just have to beat Michigan. They're going to beat Purdue. You drop one to Ohio State, you still have to play what? It's going to be a tie between them and Ohio State. They'll probably get the nod.
Yeah.
Right? They'll probably get the nod, right? But as far as that, Oregon's not going to drop a game. I doubt that. And just as far as ranking goes and points, they're going to get the nod over Ohio State. So if they just handle business, they can get this done. But I mean, why not? Or Michigan can ruin a season. But I'll tell you this: if you have 2 teams and 2 motives, one team's motive is to ruin a team season, and then the other team's motive is to go undefeated. I'll tell you this 10 out of 10 times. The motive to go undefeated trumps the motive to ruin a season. So you just got to play sound football, understand that Michigan is going to try to play super emotional. They're going to try to get you off your game. They're going to try to contain the big play, all that stuff, run the football. But if you can stop the run, if Indiana can stop Michigan's run, it could get out of hand early. Then you got Iowa State going to Kansas. They only got Iowa State as a 3-point favorite. Iowa State loses last week to, I believe, Texas Tech. And it was like a 1-point game or something like that. So, I think Iowa State still gets it done, but it's a selfish happy because I predict that Iowa State was going to lose eventually. I didn't know who was going to come to, whether it was Utah or Houston, whoever they got up next. I knew it was going to come from somebody, right? I'm glad they dropped it because I really don't think for college football it would be fun to see them in the college football playoffs. And that's harsh. I got friends who went to Iowa State. Nothing against Iowa State. I really don't think Iowa's that bad of a state. I really don't. I don't really know about their corn and all that stuff. I'm from Arizona and North Carolina, so I don't really know about that whole thing. But as far as for college football, I'd much rather have a team like Tennessee get in there, or Notre Dame get in there, or Alabama get in there than, a really good Iowa State team, right? That's just my personal opinion, right?
But I think the Big 12 is kind of similar to the ACC. Is probably we use this in basketball a lot, but probably a one bid league. So I think it's just going to come down to that championship game. If is BYU going to remain undefeated? Can Colorado get back into the mix there? Could be interesting, but I mean I agree with you. Even in a 12-team playoff, I don't think we need 2 Big 12 teams in there.
Yeah, for sure. And then this Clemson team is interesting right here. They're going to Virginia Tech. It's not an easy place to play. But I'll say this. Once a team like Clemson gets beat by Louisville in kind of I would say a dominant fashion, right? It can kind of I like this analogy. It's like blood in the water with sharks. All of a sudden now everyone smells the blood, people's mouths are watering, and all of a sudden people are like, man, it's really time. It's really time. But we got to take it to a break real quick. You're listening to The Locker Room on 93.7.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
Hey guys, it's Nick. You know how much I love beer, and this game day, show your Husker pride with Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of the Nebraska Alumni Association. Brewed by Nebraska fans, for Nebraska fans, Dear Old Nebraska Brew is your go-to for every kickoff, touchdown, and celebration. Whether it's tailgating, watching the game at home, or gathering with friends, this beer is there to bring that perfect game day refreshment. Dear Old Nebraska Brew embodies the spirit of Nebraska with every sip. So crack one open and let the good times roll. Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of Nebraska alumni. Please drink responsibly. Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, take over $11,000 off a 2024 Ford F-150. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1004296, MSRP of $66,645. Must finance with Ford Motor Company and have a qualifying trade and approved credit. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/13/24. See delivery details.
The electrical workers of local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Now that Halloween is over and you're gearing up for Christmas, it's time to head to Tailored Life in Bennett to get ready with local shopping. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of Christmas trees in all different colors. Plus, many other fall and winter holiday items and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Imagine a world where your office IT runs smoothly, securely, and effortlessly. A day where you aren't worried about the next outage or password compromise. At Hamilton, we take care of everything from monitoring and maintenance to security and support. We partner with your business to design integrated technology solutions that fit your needs now and your goals for the future. With on-site and remote IT support options, we're always just a call or click away. Elevate your IT with Hamilton Managed IT. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through November 12th is $2 off all crackers, $2 off on grind, $3 off on salami, and buy one, get one free on stew beef. Limit of 2. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Highway 2 in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's all-new Ridge lineup. The Ridge XR, the Ridge HVAC, and the Ridge Limited. All built to take on your day with a full factory cab, including heat and AC. Stop by Indian Motorcycle of Lincoln today and rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of November. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln at 27th and I-80.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Beecham from Brand Lincoln Podcast and Perch Merch, your go-to in Lincoln for printing and promotional needs. Speaking of that, we are running a huge hoodie sale now through November 30th to save you big money on great brands. 20% off everything from Nike and Bella Canvas pullovers to Gildan and Port & Company sweatshirts and district fleeces. Get yours for your group or organization today by calling us at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by F Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment on The Locker Room today. Final thoughts from Chancellor Brewington before we depart.
Yeah, final thoughts. We got to get out of here quick because we got a special guest in on the block with Strick. Go ahead and tell him, Bach, who's coming on.
Yeah, it's Coach Fred Hoiberg. I mean, that's about as big as they get in the state of Nebraska. Nebraska men's basketball coach. They just tipped off their season with a win, and then they'll get back to it with Bethune-Cookman on Saturday. So very exciting guest. Fred Hoiberg coming up on the ticket on the block on 93.7.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mikey Daniels will go through the rest of the picks tomorrow. All your top 25, all your NFL picks, all that good stuff. But that's all we have for the locker room today. I'm Chancellor Brewington. That's Bach. You listen to 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and